Mamas, welcome to another episode of Small Biz Mama. I am so excited that you are with me today. My name's Kristen Ingram. I am a business owner. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm trying to get all the things done, which is why today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about balance. Okay. So I often get asked all the time, how do you balance two businesses and a toddler and home and all the things and still have a life? And okay, here's the thing. It's not balancing, because balancing ensues that you have all of these things and everything is equal and it's all balancing each other out and it's all level. And I'm sorry, it's not. That's not how it works. Okay. What I like to think of it is I don't balance, I juggle. Right. And so I'm going to have so many balls up in the air. And sometimes I go, you know what? Okay, this ball I'm going to put down. And I'm going to pick up this ball over here. And maybe this ball has got to move twice as fast. Right. And so it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, while the other ones are kind of going in the other hand. Okay. So here's the thing. It's really about determining what is most important to you. Okay. And I love this. I was actually, so I was listening to Deep Work by Cal Newport, and he was talking about, okay, so what are the top couple things, not 85, because that's what we do as women. We think about 85 different things that we need to do in order to be the mom, right? And the wife and the worker or the business owner, whatever it is that we're doing. So here's the thing. I came up with a list of, these are 4 things. Okay. 4 things that are important to me. These are my mission critical things. Okay. So number 1, okay. And these aren't in any particular order. Okay. But there are 4 things. Serving my customers, okay, is incredibly important to me. Okay. Bringing in new customers. Okay. Right. So to, keep the business going, keep the business growing. Okay. So those are the 2 things that make my businesses go, right? Serving the customers I have and bringing in new customers. Okay. Now, number 3 is building memories with my family. Okay. So what are the things that we are going to look back on, years from now? And so for us, those are things going to the beach and going to the park and swimming in the pool and, having dinner together and reading and snuggling on Saturday mornings. And, what are those things that just, I don't know, that exude love. Right. And so those are really, really important. And then the 4th one is becoming the person I want to be. Right. So I am incredibly intellectually curious. I love learning new things. I've always wanted to learn piano. And so, what are the things that are going to get me there? So if I think about that, okay, so these are the 4 things. Okay. And if I'm trying to decide between 2 different actions, which one is going to be the one that brings me closer to those 4 things? And if I have to eliminate things, I'm running them through those 4 things. So let's say, okay, we're having a really busy night and we're trying to decide okay, so are we going to pick up food somewhere, or, am I going to make dinner? Okay. So, if I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's 4:00 and Eric really needs some attention. He really wants me to play a game with him, or we promised him we were going to go swimming and the day is just kind of gone awry. And so, it's that time where I've got to decide okay, am I going to spend an hour in the kitchen Or am I going to, pick up something? Or am I going to make something really quick? Or maybe I'm going to pull something out of the freezer and throw it in the oven. What am I going to do? And the option that's going to get me to go swimming with Eric is probably the option that's going to win. And so I might scrap whatever plans we have for dinner and say, you know what? I've got a frozen lasagna in the freezer. I'm going to go throw that in the oven for an hour and I'm going to go swimming with my son. Okay. Because that will bring memories, right? That we'll have forever. And I think very often we don't know, or we're not willing to acknowledge what those important things are. And we're not willing to trade off. And what ultimately happens is because we're not willing to make the conscious decision, we are making a decision. And so when I am choosing to be anal about how clean my bathrooms are, or how clean our house is. And I struggle with this all the time. Okay. Trust me. When I do this podcast, I do it just as much for me as I do it for you. Okay. This is very therapeutic for me to kind of talk through some of this stuff. I hope it is for you as well. Otherwise I'm just having public therapy sessions. So there you go. But I think that, when I sit there and I say, okay, I'm not going to be as anal about the house because I want the time with my family, right? And so, I may not be as particular about, making our bed or the way I fold our clothes, because I'd rather spend that time, reading to Eric or doing puzzles or playing games as a family. And so when you put things through that lens, it's really easy to say, okay, so, these are the balls I'm juggling. Okay, here's another ball. What am I going to do with this ball? Am I going to try to add it to the ones I already have, which is what most of us do? Or am I going to look at the balls I have for a second and say, okay, what am I going to put down? What do I need to just kind of let go of a little bit in order to make that happen? And so I really encourage you, when you're done listening to this podcast, sit down and write down the 3 or 4 things that are most important to your mission in life. Now, if you're like, Kristen, I don't have a mission. I don't have a grand mission. I'm a mom and I'm a wife. Okay, then there's a mission. Right? If you're a mom and a wife and a business owner like I am, and think about it, that's really what mine are about, right? Mine are about being a better me, right? Building memories with my family makes me a better wife and mom. And serving my customers, bringing new customers, makes me a better businesswoman. There you go, right? Better me, better wife and mom, better businesswoman. Those are really, you could say okay, those are my 3 things, right? But really that's my mission, right? And it's not something that it's not dramatic, right? But this is what I do. And this is what's important to me. So I'd love you to think about what's important for you. What are those? Don't listen. I understand you're going to want to make a list of 700 things, right? And I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, my faith is really important to me. I want to be, I want to be a better follower, right? I want to, so how do I, do I put that down? Well, I think becoming the person I want to be, I think it includes that, right? I think it includes, my spiritual journey. I think it's my health journey is in there, right? And so, when I'm looking at different lenses, right, and different things, I think that that doesn't exclude, those things that are really important to me. So now you're probably thinking like, okay, well, so if I've got those four things, well, what if I have to choose between serving my customers and building memories with my family? Okay, that's a really good question. So typically when I'm in that position, I say, okay, well, is there a way that I can do both? What else can I put down so that I can reschedule, right? Because typically, like, listen, I am not spending, I love you guys, but I'm not spending all day serving my customers and building memories with my family. Like, those aren't the only two things going on. There's laundry and dishes and admin stuff and, and working with my team and getting groceries and meal planning and showering and exercising and all these things. Okay. So to say that like those are the only two choices, that's just not being genuine. Right. And I know that there are a lot of you that are out there that are like, well, I have to choose between wanting to improve my family or, or spending time with them. And it's like, okay, well, what all else is going on? Because let me tell you, like, for me, okay, and I know I do this all the time, especially when, those of you that watch the video, instead of listening to the podcast, which did you know that you can watch this on video? We're actually on YouTube. If you go to smallbizmama.com, you can get the link to our YouTube channel and you can actually watch me. You can actually watch me do, and it's like, I pick up my phone and I fling things around and my hands are constantly moving and it's a thing. But I know I spend way too much time on my phone, and I'm trying to get better at that. But I know, like, hey, if I spent less time on my phone, I'd have more time to serve my customers and more time to build memories with my family. So when we make that assumption that I can either build my business or build memories with my family, and there's nothing else going on, and there's no other option, I think we kind of have to sit there and go, whoa, hi, yeah. Wait, hold on. Can we look at all the 900 other things that we're doing today and see what else, we might be able to trim so it's not those two things? Okay. And that's what I'm using as my lens is how do I eliminate more of the trivial stuff so that I can focus on the four things that are really important. Okay, so I hope that makes, sense to you. And so for me, that means looking at my task list, looking at my calendar, really zeroing in on where I'm spending my time, being super conscious of what I say yes to. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, behind me it says, "Today I will not stress over things I cannot control." I think that is really, really big. And part of the reason I have this behind me is because whenever I'm recording, I actually see it. So I can say, okay, hi, Kristen. Yes, remember, ding, 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 ding. Today I will not stress over things I cannot control. Because I stress a lot. I am a natural cortisol junkie. Hi, my name is Kristen and I'm a cortisol junkie. And it's not good for me. So trying to slow down is really, really important. And I think by focusing in on the things, those four things. So again, my four things are serving my customers, bringing in new customers, building memories with my family, and becoming the person I want to be. And running everything through that lens. Super, super helpful. Okay. So I'd love to know what your 4 things are. If you're in the Small Biz Mama community, or you're in Bookkeeper Training School and you're in the Empowered Bookkeeper Network, share with us what your 4 things are, or what your 3 things are. It doesn't have to be 4. It could be 2. But I wouldn't do more than 4. Okay. I would really try to keep it down to 4. And that means that you're really going to think about what are the most important things. And maybe don't get super particular. They'll be like, what's important to me? Laundry. Okay. Well, think about, so if you get to that point where you've got a really big list, then what I want you to do to bring that list down is I want you to keep asking why. Okay. Why is this thing important? To try to get something bigger. So why is laundry important? Because my family is important. Okay. Well, why is family important? It's like, because I want them to feel loved, right? And I want to feel loved. Okay. So how can, so maybe that's what's important to you. It's giving and receiving love. That's a really good one. Like, that's awesome. Okay. And that can look like a lot of different things in your life. Okay. So that's really cool. All right. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I know preparing for this episode was really helpful for me. And it's funny because a lot of times when I do these shows and I start to kind of brainstorm what I want to talk about, and I start putting notes together in, like in ClickUp, which is the system that we use, shows evolve and they change. And based off of what I'm reading or the research that I'm doing, sometimes they go in radically different directions. So I was originally going to talk about my task list of my calendar, and I wrote down determine what's important. And I started really thinking about like, okay, well, what's important to me? And it completely changed like the direction of where I was going to go. And honestly, I think that part of the reason for that is that giving myself the space to become the person I want to be. And so I'm doing more development, I'm doing more crafting, and I'm playing more music. And by doing that, it is creating space for my brain to kind of think bigger and open up more. So I really encourage you to stop striving for balance, okay, and measure everything that you do against those items that are most important to you. All right, mamas, I hope that this was helpful for you. I just want to thank you so much for sharing the show, for listening to the show, because we see it in our numbers all the time. We see the numbers are growing. We're just thrilled that you love the show. And so please, if you know someone who could benefit from the show, and they don't have to be a small business owner. A lot of our episodes really they're not about business, but they're really about life and living life better. And it's super helpful when you share. So thank you again so much for all that you do. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Small Biz Mama with Kristen Ingram. If you'd like to learn how to create more margin in your life, please visit us at smallbizmama.com. That's smallbizmama.com.